The role of a tank destroyer is quite simple. You're basically meant to be a support vehicle to where you sit off in the back of the map and try to peck off enemies that are moving on upward towards a certain flank while your team is struggling to try to hold off that flank to the best of their ability. But this is wargaming, and apparently they've done something out of the original. They decided that they wanted to buff camo factors specifically designated towards tank destroyers. And it most sincerely had a major effect over a lot of tier 9 tank destroyers. One such is this deadly beast being the T-95, which is a tier 9 tech tree American tank destroyer on World of Tank Blitz, but on Reforged it is a tier 6. Currently at the moment, camo values for this vehicle is sitting at only 39.41. That is after the substantial amounts of changes that were brought towards CamoNet. But now, Reforged implemented commanders, and now there is a specific commander that is able to exceed those numbers drastically, and that is none other than Lisa Diaby. To which this mechanic right here, out of sight, will increase your tank's concealment by 40%. Which may seem crazy to even think about, considering that the T-95 itself can already be planted off in the backside of the map, especially in the open, and it can't necessarily be detected, which is where if I pull out a calculator and calculate the current statistics to what are listed upon CamoNet for this vehicle, which is 39.41, times the extra boost that is specifically through the cruise skill mounted on that commander, which is 40%, and in decimal form, that is 1.40. And that would mean that the T-95 is sitting at over 55.17 concealment percentage while stationary. How freaking insane is that? Literally, you're off in the open in the backside of the map. You cannot be spotted. That is sincerely stupid to even think about, especially for a vehicle that has pretty much an impervious upper infrastructure, and as apart from Wargaming implementing its PBR graphics as apart from Blitz, basically made it to a point to where the upper infrastructure is going to be a sincere hard penetration, especially for the fact that this vehicle's gun hits really hard, and it's mainly quite flexible when poking over ridgelines. So yeah, let's go ahead and demonstrate a battle right here on World of Tank Blitz Reforged with the insane camo statistics to what this vehicle has going for it, and we'll see how we can fare well until then. And after about 5,000 years later, we have finally loaded on into a battle. So, let's go ahead and see what vehicles that they would have. Okay, so it looks like they have 3 or 4, it looks like 3 vehicles that are not bots, so we're gonna kind of see how this one can go. Looks like we got some tier 8s as well, or in this case they're tier 5s. So let's go ahead and mosey our way over to the right side then. So the other awful part about this vehicle I should also mention is the lackluster maneuverability. This vehicle only goes at a top speed of about 25 kilometers per hour. So keep that in mind as well. You're not going to be able to get into the front line in a more rapid period of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mosey our way up over here. We want to make sure that nothing is really going to be spotted off in the back at first. Otherwise, this is going to be a very popular spot where the majority of their vehicles will be planted otherwise. To which we already got the WZ-132A, and we also got the 59 patent as well off back over there. So let's go ahead and continue to move forward then and see what else that they would have spotted. It looks like the 59 patent is going to make a very dire mispoke as a part from that. Unfortunately, missing the first shell. That's totally alright. Alright, we got the IS-6 right off in the back right there, to which we did get spotted, but I don't think he actually was the one who spotted me. So, let's go ahead and aim on in. Unfortunately, not able to get that tap out just yet, but let's see here. We also got the 59 patent off towards the far back side of the map right there. There we go, 653 out of his vehicle right there. Alright, let's go ahead and reload again. We got the IS-6 out in the open right there. It looks like the 59 is the one that's spotting me, unfortunately enough. Looks like we got the IS-6 as well. This guy can't really do anything to counter my vehicle in that aspect, so we're going to move on upward just a little bit. We're going to aim in on the Patton once again. Alright, looks like we can't get a tap into his vehicle just yet. Alright, so I think the only other outcome that what we can do is probably take care of this IS-6. So that is exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to mosey on over towards where his vehicle is going to be going towards. Get a nice tap for 697 into his vehicle, and then just go ahead and plop on our adrenaline real quick. Alright, so it looks like that the WZ-132-1, or the other WZ, whichever one that is. Jeez. Look at that. We can just butter right through this IS-6 like there's absolutely no tomorrow. And that's the beauty of tank destroyers as well, having those increased penetration factors, are possibly the deadliest guns in the freaking game, pretty much, depending on what tiers that they're listed at. Alright, so we also got the WZ-132-1. I do get that that is a bot right there. So, we're going to go ahead and plop on our super speed boost then, and then we're going to go try to see if we can get a nice slap into this guy real quick before he ends up... Actually, you know what? We're going to go ahead and 882 right into the lower plate of his vehicle. Alright, and then we're going to mosey on through. Give him a nice little love tap in that regards right there. Yeah, so the thing about the T95 is that it's just an incredibly strong vehicle. Is that, what are you supposed to do to counter this vehicle? I mean, absolutely freaking crazy of an upper infrastructure that this vehicle has. So, you got the 752 right off to the side right there. I can't really do anything apart from the HE. Let's get 564 deducted out of his vehicle. You know, we're just going to go right at him in that regards right here. So, didn't really display the camo factors that well, but we just had an instant farm fest, and dude actually decided to pin me, surprisingly enough, which we're going to go ahead, 982, man. Holy cow, this gun absolutely chunks in that regard. So, we're going to plop on our adrenaline once again. We're just going to go ahead and get the finishing clear off of you real quick, and pretty solid first game. I don't know if we surpassed, yes we did, we surpassed over 6,000 damage right there. But you can kind of see the sheer power of the T95, and for the absolute beast mode of capabilities to what this thing has going for it, just instantly going right on in and just proving to itself that it's incredibly deadly foe to face, just really takes the cake in that aspect. Alright, so we're going to plop on into game number 2 then, and see what we can do as apart from that. Of course, we're going to be taking forever in the queue system because of Reforged. There's not really much attention that's been going around lately, apart from what I've seen from the second phase of the Ultra test. So, yeah. Oh, okay. We actually got into a battle, surprisingly enough. So, what I'm going to primarily do is, if I hope that this is going to be a more... variized matchmaking with more players, which it looks like that it is. It looks like that we got 2 bots on each team. We're going to kind of demonstrate the camo net values of what it's taking. This is a pretty good map to demonstrate that. Yamato Harbor is one of those to where if you're in an area to like right behind where that bush is right there, then really nothing is going to spot you. So that is exactly what we're going to do. Just go ahead and rely on the lackluster maneuverability to what this vehicle features and see what we can do. Alright, so moseying on forward then. Looks like the 30B ended up getting spotted. We also got the Vickers light out in the open right there. We got the 4202, so let's go ahead and mosey our way upward just a little bit. We got the IS-4, we also got the 4202. Let's see if any of these guys are willing to poke on now. So, let's see right here. We got the Vickers lights, we got the 4202 off the back. Let's see if any of these guys are going to end up poking us. Looks like the IS-4 is coming out in the open right there. There's 648 out of his vehicle. And just like that, we're not even spotted. We fired once, and we're not even spotted, which is freaking ridiculous. Alright, so we got the 4202. Okay, we did get spotted as apart from the other vehicle. Alright, so we got the 4202. Let's see if bro's going to mosey on forward, which it looks like that he is, and we're going to get 535 out of his vehicle. Alright, it looks like that we are unspotted yet again, which we got this Conway to which we can outspot right over here. So we're going to go ahead, and because of that aiming boost that we get as apart from the ability of the commander right there. Oh, what a shot. I did not expect that to go long. Alright, so, yeah. pretty much an instance right there to where the camo factors of this vehicle can feel quite insane. Like, 2 shots and we didn't even get spotted. So watch, this IS-4 is going to poke on out once again, and watch, we're not even going to get spotted once again. However, I didn't even see his vehicle. Alright, so we got the 4202. Alright, we did get spotted as he was within a proximity to where he can outspot us, so we're just going to kind of wait right here. We also got the 183 who we could outspot in the far back right there. 590 deducted out of his vehicle, and think about that. That 183 cannot even see me, bro. Like, he literally didn't even know where that shell came from, and look, he's just sitting there just trying to find me in that aspect. I'm still just sitting here, and I am just farming damage off of him like absolutely no tomorrow. Alright, so we got the Sheridan off in the back right there, and that was a pretty prime example right there to where this vehicle's camo is just absolutely insane for the numbers that it carries. Alright, so we're going to mosey on forward. We got the Sheridan off to the side right over here. Let's see if this guy's going to make a dire mispoke as apart from that. Alright, looks like he's dead. So we're going to plop up our super speed boost, and then we're going to mosey on up slightly over this ridge line right over here, see if he can maybe get some taps into this IS-4 right over here, which it looks like that he is getting plucked for the time being, so we're going to mosey our way up. Looks like the Yo gets a nice tap into him, and so does the other enemies. Oh, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get any more hit points further deducted out of his vehicle, and that's another solid victory right there. So that was a much better demonstration showcasing the camo net values to what this vehicle has going for it. We shot vehicles and pecked them off in the back, didn't even get spotted, especially that 183. That is the beneficial part about what camo factors are capable of withholding for certain vehicles like a tier 9 tank destroyer. So we're going to get into game number 3 then, and we'll go from about as apart from that. Hopefully we're going to get... Alright, so it looks like we got 4 players on each team this time as well. So let's see what we can do. Looks like SV2 Chieftain Mark 6, T-54E1, and the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen. Alright, so let's go ahead and mosey our way right along over here into where apparently a lot of other tank destroyers like to point themselves at. Alright. So let's go ahead and see what we can spot, or outspot, as apart from what's going to lurk on back here. We already got the 54E1. Alright, so it looks like that... Yeah, this looks like it's already going to be game over by the looks of it. Yep. Vehicle's not really knowing what to do along the long run. And, of course, my maneuverability level is taking forever, as always. So, I'm just going to plop on the super speed boost right here. And then just mosey right on over towards this 54E1 right here then. We're going to go ahead and slap a Rooney for 690. We got the Chieftain off in the back right over there. Okay. So it looks like that he did clear my ally. So, alright, Chieftain does spot me. That's totally alright. Not really nothing he can do upon his behalf, so... We got the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen, we got the SB2 down low. We got the, alright, so we got the Rheinmetall. Let's see if we can go mosey right on in towards this guy and get some plucks into him. I don't know if I'm probably going to get a hit into his vehicle. Actually, I'm going to be able to finish him off by the looks of it, which is good. So, we're going to plop on our adrenaline, and then we're going to head right down over here. Can you guys move? I would appreciate it. Like, holy cow, what are we doing, guys? Like, holy cow, let me get on in. I have the deadly amounts of armor, bro. Alright, so we got the Chieftain. Let's go ahead and mosey our way down over towards his vehicle. And then we have that aiming time boost as apart from our third shell. SB2, of course, bounces us. And, like I said, the deadly capabilities to what this vehicle has going for is absolutely insane. So, we're going to aim in, try to aim in on that Chieftain's engine deck. Yes, and it hits. Let's go. Alright, so, we got the SB2 down off to the side right over here. Let's go ahead and aim in on his vehicle just in case. So we're going to sit back just to a point to where in case if he tries to outspot me, which it looks like that he's not going to be able to spot me again. And there we go, another prime example. Look, that SB2 is not even looking at me. I don't even think he knows that I'm out in the open right here. That's just where freaking camo net comes in handy with a tank destroyer, dude. Like, it's absolutely freaking crazy. Another 600 damage deducted out of his vehicle. I'm just sitting right here just farming this SB2 out, lickety-split. Alright, so, reloading again. Looks like he's going to plop his butt out in the open. So I'm just going to sit right here and then just wait. Actually, you know what? He's the last one left, so we're just going to go right in on him. So 2 shots. SB2 didn't even know that I was spotted. Freaking 55% of camo factors, dude. That's something else. I mean, the T95, don't get me wrong, is already as freaking insane as it always has, even with the blitz variation, because it can apparently be spotted out in the open, or it can't be spotted out in the open. That's what I meant to say. It can just get away with everything. I mean, Jagdtigers, Waffendragers literally account for the same purpose, but in terms of deadly capabilities, especially with an impervious upper plate for the most part, I gotta say the T95 has gotta be one of the deadliest tank destroyers to what Blitz has going for it. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is that she wrote to it. And I'm just as flabbergasted for the fact that this vehicle, when Reforged comes out, is going to be absolutely insane, and nothing is really going to outspot it as apart from the back of the map. So hope you guys did end up enjoying today's video on the other hand. And if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And make sure to turn on those bell notifications while you're at it, so you do not miss out on any new videos or streams. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.